Hello and welcome to the Monster Sanctuary Tournament Circuit. This is the finals of the sixth tournament of Season 1. This is a draft tournament. I am the Smug-Looking Barrel.
And I am Pope Pius. And the finals here, we have MarshCat, who will be on the left, and Giulio, who will be on the right against each other.
So going into Game 1 of this best of 5, we see MarshCat got the first turn. They were higher seed. And we see he's running some sort of charge stack based team with a little bit of burn, whereas Giulio is going all in on debuffs, also with a little bit of burn.
Yeah, definitely quite similar when it comes to that burn theme, despite there being no overlapping monsters between them, which is pretty cool to see.
So, setting up on the first turn, going for the Shred, trying to do damage to all of Giulio's monsters. Doesn't knock out any of them, but this Bazooki is going to have to put in some overtime to try to heal up. Unless it's just going to go for the Hades and try and get some kills here.
Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic when it comes to Giulio's monsters here. Having both Vasuki and Imori together, there's a lot of debuffs due to those acid spits.
That's absolutely true. We see the air sickle coming up from Magmamoth, doing good damage onto the Lion, but I think even with 3 burn debuffs, the Lion will survive unless Giulio uses Imori to knock it out as well.
We'll see what Imori does here. Right, goes for the Scorch, so relying on the debuffs to try and take down both of them, which it does.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised there, but yeah, the 3 burn debuffs, Lion having quite high attack from Life Overload working against it here, and it is able to knock it out. So we see a very interesting pick. We see Molebear, who is normally used just as a tanky healer and potion user, but given the fact that MarshCat brought it in here with no other damage dealers, looks like he plans to attack with this Molebear. Here comes Tectonic Spikes. And Bazooki does survive, but both of the other monsters fall, and Splatter from Molebear is able to put some bleed onto this Bazooki.
Dang, yeah, that's I haven't seen a Molebear used in PvP as an attacker before.
Yeah, it's quite rare since he's so good at using the potions. But this is one of the things that happens when you're forced to use a draft team is you have to find use for monsters who may not be the best. And I mean, Molebear certainly pulled his weight there. Giulio playing very aggressively here, setting up his Rampede to try and get a big attack next turn. So, Marsh, looking through his options here, Vasuki, I'm pretty sure is dead to rights. It'll just die to the bleed damage immediately. So Marsh wants to see if he can get something else.
Yeah, being at full health and shields on all their monsters will really help against the Rampede. Though I haven't played PvP since the new update, so I haven't actually seen Rampede really in action.
It can be really scary, especially we usually see Rampede just try to attack immediately, but Giulio going for the power focus, a rare skill only shared by this and Brutus. And Vasuki actually survives the bleed with a bit of self-healing. But Rampede, with power focus and really, really good buff support, it can be very, very scary in a similar manner to something like Brutus if it gets a turn to set up. So we see Vasuki going to break the Protect, which leads me to believe that Rampede is going to try and target down this Molebear.
Vasuki did not get much off of that, or not get much Curse Chain procs, from what I could tell.
No. So we see the Severe Cuts going onto Targoat, and the Rune Staff that it applies, hurting the regeneration buff's ability to heal up that Targoat, leads to the Targoat going down. So MarshCat is left with 2 sort of hybrid damage dealers and support, but he still has a really great synergies. He has he has 2 instances of Multi-Barrier, and Krakatturtle has Tenacious Barrier, which is probably part of why Vasuki isn't getting much luck with that first chain. Impale from Mulbear is able to knock out the tiny bit of HP that Bazuki still had left.
Yeah, though that will bring in a fresh fungi to come in and basically just replace it and fill the same role. However, it appears that actually the other team doesn't really have much in terms of healing, so the severe upkeep on Vasuki, along with fatal upkeep, can allow those debuffs to wear away their team.
Yeah, so Giulio is able to bring in fungi, but fungi is very frail and Giulio has no more replacements. So if he loses this fungi, he's in huge trouble. We see the severe cuts. Oh, but he might be able to knock something out first. Polterofen, the incredible healing it gets from transfusion with its enormous mana regeneration, is able to keep it alive through that bleed buff, through the bleed, even with a wound. But Polterofen isn't looking that healthy anymore.
Yeah, it'll be hard to recover from that.
Yeah, Krakatoa trying to heal it up with a potion. Mulbear, even though it's trying to do damage, MarshCat definitely has Wonder Potion on it. It's such a good skill. So he can heal up this Polterofen, but Polterofen really needs shields in order to actually do damage, because most of his damage comes from Volatile Shield. So with just a tiny shield, we'll see how much he's able to actually get done. Ooh, that might be enough. The burn debuffs applied on fungi are able to take it out.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised to see that hit did so much. This Polterofen must have a really high HP stat for only like a third of its shield, and being able to hit for so much.
Yeah, for sure. Now Giulio's in a really tough position. He just needs to equalize the score, or else he's going to get really far behind. So setting up with Power Focus, trying to get off a big attack next turn, but without the pressure of 3 monsters, Marsh has been able to fully shield his Polterofen, and it looks like Polterofen's going to be able to get another kill here. You see the Impale coming up from Mulbear. Not that much damage, but looks like it'll settle up Polterofen, and Volatile Shield just barely enough.
Yeah, it's definitely over for Giulio here.
Yeah, just one Rampede isn't going to break through all these monsters. So MarshCat wins game 1.
This is best 3 out of 5, so we're on to game 2.
Yeah, and that changes the dynamic a little bit. We see, I believe, same teams from both players, but you have much more of an ability to learn about your opponent's team, what they're planning to do, and adapt in a best of 5 than you have in a best of 3, where if you go down one game, you have to win everything to even have a chance. So we see Giulio going first this time because he lost the last game, going with the same lead and trying to target down this Krakatoa, seeing how much of a threat it was.
5 burn and 3 poison to start off is quite threatening, especially with
that was a really nice opener.
Let's see if they can actually capitalize on this.
Yeah, we see Imori going for the ice spears. Big damage.
Yeah, neither of them goes down. We'll see how much debuff removal that they have, but the MarshCat's team is looking to be in a not so great spot.
Yeah, Aurora Shield is going to help. Importantly, this is a case where Vazuki's severe upkeep really does hurt MarshCat, because he now is in the position where he has to heal his team up or he's going to lose them next turn, and those 2 wound stacks is really hurting that. You see, only 300 healing per tick, where that normally would have done 600 or so.
And here MarshCat had to use their entire turn on just healing off that damage, so Giulio is free to just continue the onslaught of debuffs.
Yeah, this is really where Giulio's team wants to be. Put the opponent on the back foot so that the fact that your monsters are very frail doesn't matter. So the Ice Spear is going down onto Krakatoa. Imori, in addition to being able to apply quite a few debuffs, can do good damage and apply bleed, and that's enough to take out this Krakatoa.
Yeah, Giulio had to have all of his monsters go after the Krakatoa there, so Mulbear is in a safer spot now.
It is, and because of Revenge, both on it and Target with Leadership, it has 52 charge stacks, which might allow it to really make some offense happen. MarshCat thinks so, as it's going to set up a full offense.
Oh wow, yeah, taking out 2/3 of those monsters there is pretty huge there with the Mole Bear. Not a good trade for Giulio there.
Yeah, that was a massive, massive attack. Now, Giulio is able to bring in his King Blob, which likely has Restore and be able to keep Magmamoth alive. And MarshCat, I mean, he did a lot of damage. He took out 2 monsters, but because of that, he wasn't able to use his turn getting rid of these debuffs, which means not only is Magmamoth's Death Blow fully charged, which allows it to do that.
Wow, yeah, I was not keeping an eye on that. That was quite the turnaround.
Yeah, and then MarshCat would have had to deal with another turn of the debuffs ticking on his monsters and triggering all the debuff-based skills, but with Magmamoth able to get set up, like in charge from King Blood, just able to knock out the entire team.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. I thought Giulio's in a really bad spot there. I was expecting Mole Bear due to and only being weak to water, and Giulio lacking Congeal. I thought they were in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, Magmamoth's damage is incredibly high. It's super frail, but if you can bring it in like Giulio did after an ally's fallen, it can really get work done. And with Killing Dance able to maintain its charge stacks, it can go right in and knock another monster out next turn. And MarshCat forfeits that game just as quickly. So we're on to game 3, 1-1, and we've seen some really, really fast-paced games. We see a shake-up from Giulio. He's going to bring in Killen.
We also see that MarshCat has swapped their Krakatoa for their Turtle, which is Dark Shifted now.
Yes, which is kind of interesting. I think MarshCat realizes that it's not the debuffs staying around and doing damage over time that's the problem. It's those debuffs powering Death Blow. So we might as well have a Krakatoa that can put more offensive pressure. And we do see going with a more defensive team, setting up Burn and Shields.
Yeah, I suppose in their situation, if they're in the spot where they're trying to just remove the debuffs, at that point they've already lost. They'd rather just
against this team, I would tend to agree, yeah. Though I would say that MarshCat's switch up is favorable against Giulio's because Killen is weak to debuff effects. So these 4 burn debuffs are going to severely pressure Killen and almost force Giulio to be using King Blob's Restore on Killen instead of using it to set up Rampede.
Yeah, like in this situation, I would say that like Polteroffen wouldn't be like applying that much burn to the point where Killen would actually be in danger. But along with Krakatoa, you'll just passively rack up that burn damage.
Yeah, Krakatoa is so good at applying burn, and this is the problem with using Power Focus. You know, maybe if Giulio was able to get back to his turn with the Rampede set up, he would be able to knock out multiple monsters, but spending an entire turn with your damage dealer and setting up only to not do anything can lead you to cases like this where if your damage dealer just gets knocked out, you're really far behind.
Yeah, Giulio really need to be able to get something going with the Magmamoth here, and yeah, that definitely was not the case there. Polteroffen already back up at half shield, re-protected.
Yeah.
He still has a weakness debuff on it though. But yeah, with full shields, it'll probably be able to take down whatever it points its attack at.
It's just so hard to break through a Polteroffen when it has 4 barrier buffs as it does now. Magmamoth has Cleansing Burn, which lets it sort of slowly get rid of enemy buffs over time, but I don't think MarshCat is going to give him that time. Does choose to just set up for this turn, so seems like he has something really powerful planned for next turn, but let's see if Giulio can disrupt his plans.
I think MarshCat's more afraid of what's in the back line on Giulio's team.
Seems like it, yeah. Imori is the one monster that can actually hit Polteroffen for weakness.
Yeah, and Fungi will probably be able to do a better job than Killen on setting up the debuffs that are needed.
Yeah, going for the Sonic Assault. Even through weakness, Targo does survive, though it's able to get rid of most of Targo's buffs. Targo just surviving Barrier. This means that Polterofen is ready to fire off an attack this turn.
Yeah, taking a turn off of pressuring the Polterofen means it gets to start off with a maxed out shield on its turn.
Yeah, we do see MarshCat struggling a little bit with mana. Both Targot and Krakatoa unable to use their most powerful attacks whenever they want. So Polterofen, who just builds enormous mana regeneration naturally, it has more than its entire mana bar.
Yeah, and just like last turn, they got a good damage reduction, opting to get rid of the King Blob, so that removes Giulio's only source of sustain on their team.
Yeah.
But now that they got the fungi, they do have 2 monsters which can go for combo building.
Yeah, kind of an interesting play. Giulio really needs to make something happen this turn, but if he does, he might have a shot at this, and that the attack from Fungi helped out.
Yeah, that's 40 combo. That's making something happen. At least they at least took on the Targot, but not as much damage as I would expect on 40 combo with all those debuffs.
Just so many barrier buffs, plus Krakatoa and Polterofen both resisting fire. It seems like Giulio doesn't have. I believe Megamon can get Cyclo, which would have been a better option here, but you have to think about what you'll give up to get it.
Yeah, and it appears they went for single target wind and AoE fire for Megamoth's attacks, and the single target neutral.
Yeah. So here, MarshCat is able to bring in his Scorch, who can do a great job of getting rid of all the debuffs. It also has Jolly Spirit, which can help Krakatoa with its mana costs, and we see here the debuff weakness coming back to haunt kill him. It dies to the burn damage, and with only 2 monsters, Giulio forfeits.
Yeah,
so that means MarshCat is up 2-1.
Yeah, there we got to see that Polterofen got to get the momentum going right from the start, and it was just hard for Giulio to really come out from under that.
Yeah, so now Giulio gets the first turn, and that'll make it much harder for MarshCat to do the same thing again. The Polterofen Krakatoa build really wants 1 turn to set up, where it doesn't care as much that it only gets 2 actions on the first turn, because it can take those 2 actions to set up a bunch of burn and barrier. But without that, you see Giulio recognizing Krakatoa as a threat is going to try and target it down.
Yeah, definitely both teams really want to get their momentum set up right from the get-go.
Yeah, and this game starting very differently, as Giulio is able to take down this Krakatoa on the first turn. He's led with his Magma Moth, realizing that it's really it was the hero of the game he won, and he wants to get it out early. And it seems like in this case, Polterofen doesn't have enough shield to knock it out with Volatile Shield. Ooh, maybe not.
It does. Yeah, so in this situation, Giulio had to go all in on taking out the Krakatoa, which is helpful in terms of the overall scheme of the game, but in terms of that individual turn, MarshCat got to start off with a fresh team, essentially.
Yeah. So MarshCat is going to spend his turn on taking out the Pazuki, but Fungi is going to come in and drop a devastating ultimate. 37 hits.
Oh, wow.
Fungi has 2 instances of dominance, which makes its allies deal 3% more damage with their attacks for each debuff an enemy has. And this is going to just power up Magma.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Magma Moth getting rid of that target 1 hits. And, oh, gosh. Yeah, Giulio really able to get that momentum going with that fungi ult.
Yeah. In hindsight, it might have been a mistake to take out the Pazuki, but MarshCat was probably worried about Rampede coming in and doing something similar, but this Fungi just being the hero for Giulio. But we'll see if MarshCat can come back with a wipe of his own. It does look like Lion can take out this Imori.
And Molebear flexing into a more supportive role here for the Lion.
Yeah,
which doesn't let us take out the Imori, which we'll see if that is able to reset the momentum for him.
Yeah, and versatility is so important in PvP, where you don't know which monsters your opponent is going to target down first. So having this Molebear who can both do direct damage and support the team with multi-barrier and Wonder Potion is going to really help out MarshCat here, where he still has 2 supports and a damage healer, which is what you want. But he's going to have to take an attack from Magma Moth, and poor Scorch got eviscerated.
Yeah, I was gonna say taunt would be huge here, and Mulbear there did not proc it. So
yeah, Mulbear might have survived, but the 25% taunt, it often feels like it triggers more than 25% of the time, but sometimes you just don't get it. Mulbear going for the combo potion, trying to get some buffs and set up Lion. But
yeah, even if they can get a kill here, the game's pretty over with a full team of 3 coming back in after that.
Yeah.
Even if they got the kill.
So Giulio can probably close the door here. He has a full team. He has supports if he needs them. He has his Magma Moth, who is just rampaging through the MarshCat's team.
Yeah, definitely over there.
Yeah. MarshCat wants to stick it out, but he has lost it.
Probably just wants to, good to show just how much, it's a good example of showing just how important it is having your 3 monsters out there. Combo makes a huge difference on how much damage your monsters can deal.
Yeah, and it gives you time to think about what went wrong, to think about next game, because we're on to game 5, winner take all of this finals. And we see a new monster from MarshCat. He's brought in Minotaur. And we see light-shifted Vazuki, which leads me to believe that Giulio is going to use it as a support this time.
Yeah, so shakeups on both sides. We've seen the first 4 games really determined by who gets to kind of get going first. I don't know if everyone's won like the games they've been going first on, but we'll see how things shake up, because even the Magma Moth is now light-shifted, which is very interesting.
Yeah. Magma Moth, it does have situational support. It has Healing Wave and Fire Shield, so it could flex into a supportive role to try and set up this Rampede, and that looks to be what Giulio's going for. My concern is if he leaves Polterofen for alone for 2 turns, does he just lose the Rampede? Oh yeah, we see setting it up and going for the power focus. Cleansing Burn from Magma Moth, able to remove a few buffs, but he's going to have to live 1 hit from Polterofen.
Yeah, we'll see if that'll happen. Given that turn of no pressure, we'll probably...
Oh, yeah, it seems like we've seen a shakeup, though. MarshCat doesn't have Spark Shower on his Polterofen. He doesn't have an attack that can hit Magma Moth that can hit Rampede rather for weakness. And that, I think, is going to really come back to bite him here.
Dang, yeah, lots of shakeups even in the movesets on monsters here. Giulio and MarshCat really making use of the monsters they have.
Yeah, and sometimes if you don't need the skill point that you use for Spark Shower, better to have more defense, better to have more utility. But in this case, it's going to really come back to bite MarshCat, as is going to able to set up and be able to attack with a monster that has used power focus last turn.
Yeah, without any pressure on that Rampede, it has free reign now to really get in there and delete one of MarshCat's monsters.
Yeah, here comes the severe cuts, and I'll be honest, that wasn't as much damage as I thought, but it does apply a wound stack and some bleed to the Krakatoa. So Krakatoa probably not going to survive another turn, but this does give MarshCat the opportunity to get another turn of use out of it and maybe take something out. He could certainly take out Magma Moth here, but I'm not sure what he's going to do about the Rampede.
Yeah, definitely Rampede is the monster that has built up the momentum here. Even being able to take out the Magma Moth, and that it would probably just be replaced with Fungi or Vasuki that will easily take its place.
Yeah. Though, unlike something like Brutus that has just tons and tons of damage buffs built into itself, and with charge and buffs, Rampede has a little bit of buffs, but it kind of wants debuffs on the enemy to power its death blow. and Giulio doesn't really have that. MarshCat has been able to keep the debuffs off its team, so we saw even a full power focus boosted Severe Cut wasn't able to take out this Krakatoa. So it might take Giulio another turn of just pure setting up before Rampy can threaten to knock something out.
Yeah, and then Krakatoa was able to recover almost all of its shields and still has a decent amount of health.
Yeah.
But we can see Giulio's going for... Probably going to look at the damage prediction with the Rampede, see if they can finish off the Krakatoa. However,
Yeah.
Protect is making it so that Magmaloth isn't able to hit the Krakatoa.
Yeah, so he uses Magmaloth to break the Protect, goes through the Severe Cuts, but just so tanky is Krakatoa with all of these barrier buffs and able to get shield from Burning Desire, able to get shield from its team. And with the 3 regeneration buffs, it's healing so much. And now I think MarshCat has an opportunity to attack with Bolter Open and knock something out. But decides the instant, decides to go for the big potion.
Interesting. Yeah, I suppose that MarshCat's really worried about if they attack with Polteroffen, they will get a kill. But then the issue comes down to if they will set themselves up for a big wipe from the new monster coming in.
Yeah, Fungi coming in and just going for the Spore Nebula might be able to set up the damage that Rampede needs to break through these tanky monsters. So here, Giulio, realizing that he's not making any headway, is going to have to set up with Power Focus. And we see once again lack of mana sort of coming back to haunt MarshCat, but he at least can use potions to still be reasonably effective, and has been pretty good with using a potion when his monster doesn't have enough mana to do something more productive.
Well, and here, what's also working well for MarshCat is that their team has a lot of charge stacks. So as the game as the game state has sort of stalled here, it's been much more favorable for them. With and Polteroffen's definitely set up to kill whatever it wants.
Yeah, that's exactly true. So with MarshCat being able to gain damage from charge stacks over time, it looks like he's going to set up to be able to knock out this Rampede. And we also see Giulio's King Blob doesn't have heal charge. I'm not sure what shift passive it has. You can't tell just from looking at a King Blob, but I feel like he really wish he did have heal charging here, because he's been able to just set up this Rampede over and over, but hasn't been able to give it the charge stacks. And as a result, the Rampede just isn't able to put out the damage.
My guess would probably be based off of I was going to say Mass Mystify, but that Magmaloth does not have its buffs maxed out, so probably not that.
Yeah, it could be Supremacy, it could be Light Instinct, but honestly, I think it should have been heal charging here, and I bet Giulio is wishing it was, because this Rampede set up with Power Focus, fully powered, and its turn was use an antidote.
Yeah, I imagine they weren't expecting that MarshCat's monsters would be able to take hits so well even after Power Focus.
Yeah, just so tanky with the barrier buffs and all this shield.
Giulio's out here is probably to have King Blob break the Protect and then have Magmaloth attack the monster that they want to bring down.
Yeah, that makes sense. I also expect Giulio is going to, now that he's at turn 6, he's going to wait one more turn and try and use the Infinity Stack, which he gets first because he was going second, to bring his damage over the edge. But we'll see what he does, because MarshCat might be able to knock out this Rampede on the turn before that happens.
Right, so Giulio spent Magmaloth's action breaking the Protect on that Targoat. So that at least forces it to use an action with mana.
Yeah.
Not really slowing down the team. Barrier buffs are all set up, debuffs are all gone, shields are maxed out. Things aren't looking good for Giulio here. But
yeah, and now Polteroffen is at the point, it just has so many charge stacks that it can knock out Rampede through its resistance with Cold Toss. And that, I expect, maybe not. It's gonna Gonna take one more turn. Maybe it wants an infinity stack.
Oh, Cracker Turtle's Protect was not set back up.
It wasn't, though. I worry that if Rampede chooses to take down the Cracker Turtle, what will he have to take out this Polterofen?
Yeah, so Maglemoth taking the opportunity to Fire Shield.
Yeah, we see the full heal onto the Rampede, which honestly doesn't get much value, and we see the severe cuts just not enough.
Yeah, even with the Infinity Stack's 25% damage boost, and just barely just getting only like a third of the way through the HP on that Cracker Turtle, and well, they're getting almost fully set back up, and now Polterofen can possibly wipe out all of Giulio's monsters with those 200 charge stacks.
We're gonna see the rare, I don't even need Volatile Shield, I'll beat you with direct damage Polterofen. I think that's what he's going for, because he's had a kill for a long time now. But if he can put himself into a spot where he can wipe the entire enemy team, Giulio would be left with, try and manufacture a team wipe out of the 3 monsters you have left, or else you die. And I think that.
And here, due to Giulio using up power focus there, MarshCat took the opportunity to just take the turn to set up.
Yeah, Rampede has to set the power focus back up to even have a chance of knocking out something. We see Cracker Turtle, normally one of the lowest damage monsters in the game, actually threatening to do half of something's health just because this game has gone on so long. We're seeing the Infinity and so many charge stacks. MarshCat really not sure what to do here.
It's been quite the standoff, but
it does go for the lava stream. One of the initial hits consumes that blind stack, and the volatile shield through resistance. I think that was 20,000 damage. Cracker Turtle not having as much luck with its attack, but still able to damage that Maglemoth.
Yeah, getting a lot of misses there.
Yeah. And now Giulio, I think, is in huge trouble. He's brought in his Bazooki, which is a bit of an interesting choice. It looks like he's going to try and stall the game out even longer so that his next monster can come in with a ton of Infinity stacks, unless this is a damage-oriented Bazooki.
Yep, I have used Light Shifted Bazooki as damage dealer before.
Here comes the tackle. I'm not impressed by the damage of that Bazooki, but, you can't... Usually, when you're looking at, how much damage do I do, you're not attacking into a full barrier buff target.
Yeah, so in this situation, MarshCat was not able to capitalize on their install advantage very much last turn. So Giulio was able did only take 1 loss. However, yeah, already ready this turn to do another KO with Volatile Shield on Polterofen. Things are not looking good for Giulio.
Yeah, speaking of the sort of not being able to capitalize, I feel like Giulio wasn't able to capitalize on the fact that MarshCat gave him so much time. MarshCat was so patient. He waited, he set up, he played defensive, and Giulio just wasn't able to get anything done in that time. And now, when just by the power of the Infinity stacks, MarshCat's tanking monsters are able to get knockouts, Giulio is really struggling. We do see the hero of this game for Giulio, Maglemoth, is able to knock something out with Sonic Assault.
Will that be enough, though? Giulio is very much on the back foot here, and Polterofen's very much shown that it has enough Infinity stacks and enough shields to just pick off a monster every turn.
Yeah, we see new monster coming out from MarshCat Minotaur. I'm a little interested as to what he plans to do with that. Looks like he is going to use Polterofen to set up for it.
But a miss on the Volatile Shield.
And
Maglemoth is dodging everything.
Also misses. Maglemoth really, really wants to keep Giulio's hopes alive in this tournament.
Yeah, getting those key dodges, first from the Cracker Turtle many turns ago, and now then in this last turn. So we'll see if it can capitalize on this with those 5 Infinity stacks.
Yeah. I'm expecting Fungi to try and attack into Minotaur here. Minotaur only has 1 barrier buff, which means it's much less likely to be affected by Tenacious Barrier, but here we see the reverse side of Fungi, which is sometimes you don't get the proc, and sometimes you do nothing.
Yeah, not much combo built up there, so that turn did not really end up doing much. Though it did get debuffs set up on Minotaur, and Krakatoa alone is not removing many debuffs, especially now that it's dark shifted. So
Yeah.
Mass Antidote did quite a number on those debuffs. So never
Yeah,
mind.
but we also see, Poulter Open is in a position where it doesn't even need the volatile shield. Brock can just knock out this thunder. Minotaur can still put pressure on this Magmawth. Not getting many crits, and Magmawth does survive, but Helio is really
on.
this
This Magma Moth is really holding on. We'll see what I can do this turn. If Giulio can get a really big hit in either with Mori or Magma Moth, we could see a nice turnaround.
Yeah, but I don't know if it'll be able to hold back the indomitable Easy Bake Oven. Going for the Frost Pierce, and Imori does take it out.
Finally being able to exploit its weakness made a huge difference there.
Yeah, Magmamon goes for the Fire Shield, tries to set up, but now Giulio's back is against the wall. He can't afford to lose another monster, and he might be losing one here, as MarshCat finally MarshCat finally has the damage set up to actually knock things out with his Minotaur, and there's the fatal cut. And it absolutely is fatal, knocks out all of Giulio's remaining monsters. And MarshCat wins the tournament in a close, long 5-game set.
Yeah, well played to both of them. They were definitely really switching around the monsters, trying to find the optimal setup for each other and making some good adaptations. Just at the end there, when things were less about getting momentum going right from the start, Giulio's team just wasn't able to capitalize on the time given to him as well as MarshCat's team could.
Yeah, it's interesting that they sort of both made a regrettable adaptation at the end, where with MarshCat cutting the attack that he needed to take up the Genki, and Giulio trying to set up, but unable to break through the MarshCat's tankiness. But it seems like MarshCat was able to make it.
Yeah, I've definitely had experience with that. Yeah, because definitely for both of them, I imagine that they were really trying to play it more defensively, just trying to stop that initial bit of momentum gained at the beginning of the match in order to set things up favorably for themselves, but then just threw the game into a whole different dynamic that ended up working out for MarshCat much better.
Yeah, I feel like that last game was as long as the first 4 combined.
Yeah.